Hello everyone, this is Jabile aka Malushaba. I welcome you back again for another video. Today we are with Thapelo, and Thapelo is going to share a little bit with us about his rural journey and just generally his experience as someone living in a rural area. Dumela buti Thapelo.
Dumela Meleka.
Re teng le kae?
Happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us a little bit hore o fihlile jwang mo, and what inspired you to not do the norm or the common thing that a lot of young people do, but lodula in the cities or like buy houses in the cities? What inspired you or what motivated you to come and live mo mahaeng?
Yeah, well, the journey started in 2012, I think, when I used to work for a shipping company.
Okay.
So at that stage, we were doing a shift of 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So I was working 2 weeks on the ship and 2 weeks break at home.
Okay.
So during that time, I used to commute between Durban and Johannesburg because I'm from Johannesburg KwaThema Springs. So I used to commute between Durban and Joburg. After 2 weeks, come back to Durban, join the ship, and then after 2 weeks, when I leave the ship, go back home to Durban. I mean to Joburg.
Yeah.
So it happened that during my excursions outside of the job, I came to this place of Inanda. And I just saw the beauty, the natural beauty of the place, the mountains, the rivers, the dams, just the beauty, the greenness of the place, the trees. And it's something we're not used to in Joburg.
Sure, yeah.
Because in Johannesburg, it's more of a concrete jungle nowadays.
Yeah.
There's concrete everywhere, houses everywhere, so it's hardly that you get in touch with nature. So when I came around this area, I saw this area is very beautiful. It's got a lot of natural resources and natural beauty. So I fell in love with the place. Yeah.
And what was the process? Yeah, how in terms of deciding this is the spot, and you are going to buy it, in terms of finding a place to buy, contacting that person? What was your, just if you can give us hore o tlile jwang hore o thole pleke e o e reke, and then the process ya o beiwa as well? Did you have to do that, where all of that?
Yeah, I have a friend or a colleague where I used to work in that shipping company. When he told me about this place, I decided, no, let me take a drive with him and see where's this place. And we drove around many places around Inanda.
Okay.
And we finally ended up next to the dam.
Yeah.
And once again, I just saw the beauty of the area.
Yeah.
At that time, there were very few houses around.
Yes.
Of which it pleased me a lot as well, that there's very few structures around. And then we decided to speak to the neighbors, and we asked around from the neighbors which spot is available. And then they just told us, no, we must go to that house and speak to the owners of the house. So I came to this area, and then I went to Mr. Ngiti, who used to own the plot.
Okay.
And then fortunately was at home at that time.
Yes.
And then I told him my story and introduced myself. And from there, we just engaged, and he showed me a spot to pick. And I decided to pick the one that has a view of the dam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I walked around, I looked at the area, I looked at the landscape, the slope of the site, and the height as well, how the view is going to be like.
Okay.
So I decided on the spot based on those factors. Yeah. So it was the view as well as the surroundings around in terms of the neighbors and all that. Yeah.
And you went through the process, your bag.
Yeah, so after that we exchanged obviously the funds.
Yeah.
And then he gave me a date where we can go to Induna.
Yes.
And then we went to Induna, and then he asked for us to meet with the neighbors.
Yeah.
And then we arranged a date, and the neighbors came around, and we had a little ceremony whereby we had drinks and some meat, so that we can be introduced to the neighbors. And from there we we were introduced and we got the letter, the permit to occupy letter on that day. And that's how I got introduced to the neighbors as well.
I find the whole process of Ubegwa, for me, I find it to be a very humbling experience. Well, when we did it, I found it to be very humbling, and I still feel like it's a really beautiful experience. Is that something that you can say you share those sentiments? Because I feel like, one, you are, it's security for you. Everyone now knows this is your place. No one can come and say, no, this is my place. There was that ceremony, and you also now know your neighbors as well, as much as now they know you. I feel also just to kind of have that whole thing of people welcoming you before you've even built your house. I feel like it's a really humbling experience. Would you say you share those sentiments?
Yeah, exactly like you're saying. Coming from a township, it's things we're not used to, and being introduced to the people around, and the people around here, they're very humble as well, and they're very welcoming. So it was not a frightening experience, but for the neighbors to come around, welcome me, and we exchanged pleasantries at that time. So it was very humbling for myself as well to see how other people, they take other people from outside into their own spaces. That spirit of Ubuntu is, you can really feel it when you hear that people are here because of other people. They're not just here for money and other things, but they just welcome you from the purest of their heart.
Kind of like a community spirit.
It's a community spirit.
And so you have a roundhouse. That's not common again. Why did you decide you're gonna have a roundhouse?
Well, I wonder where this. I would say it's common in these settings because it's a traditional. How can I put it? Architecture. I would say maybe it's more of an African architecture. You can find it in Lesotho, wherever where people have been building for centuries. They tended to build rondavels. So I thought, okay, what structure can fit in this surrounding? And looking at again the African architecture, how people are living in the rural areas, and I thought, okay, let's build a rondavel, but with a more modern twist to it, and more of an architectural twist to it in terms of cooling, heating, ventilation, and because typically in a rondavel you wouldn't have a veranda. So it was building a rondavel but incorporating more of the architectural features that can make a house to be more comfortable to live in. Because again, a rondavel is just one big room. You can't divide it. But that's how I looked at it, and how can we divide it? How can we make it more of a living area?
And what has been your general experience having how many years, first of all, have you been here now?
We came here since 2015. That's when I bought the site. And then we started building slowly, and finished building the rondavel in 2016. Even though it's partially complete. So since 2016 we've been living in this house.
So that would be, is it 7 years? It's roundabout. This year would be 7 years. So how has what would you say your experience has been with regards to the community, the environment? And I understand, like, you're commuting from here to work, which is in the city, right? So how has that been for you? Do you still feel like you made the right decision?
Definitely, because when I built this house, a couple of years later, more houses were being developed in terms of the rondavels now, but with a more modern twist to it. So I think I had an inspiration to other.
So there are other houses that are okay. There's that one.
There's one
there's
down
this
here,
one.
and you can also, it's got a bit of a twist to it. And there's a couple more around the area that you can see that they modernized the structure.
Wow. Okay, so I interrupted you. So you were telling me your experience, your general experience.
Sorry. Then because I work in the city, Durban. Yeah, so I commute by car.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do take a bus.
Okay.
Because it's tiring to drive up and down.
Yeah.
So it's better sometimes to just take a bus and you can relax while
someone is driving.
while someone is driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I usually take a bus now and then, and yeah, it's quite far because we 40 kilometers from the city.
Yeah.
So it does take a bit of a budget to travel up and down.
Yeah. So, but you would say that you still feel like this was a good decision for you. You've had a good experience. Would you encourage someone to do the same?
Well, I will always encourage people to live in the outskirts of the city, avoid the noise, the pollution.
Yeah.
Because here be peaceful. There's hardly any noise.
Yeah.
You get to be in your own senses. You can feel the surroundings, the nature, birds, frogs in the dam. So yeah, that's what you sometimes miss when you're in Joburg, or in the city or in the township, because you don't get in touch with the natural surroundings. So that's more important than being in a township, going up and down, being busy in that hustle and bustle of the city, because you don't get time to relax. And every time when I come back from work, I come here home, I always get time to relax, because I don't have any noise around me or any disturbance around me. So yeah, so it's worth it in that sense. Yeah. As you can see now, it's a weekend. You can hardly hear any radio around.
True.
So I'm in my own space and I'm enjoying my weekend.
Yeah.
Whereas in other areas there'd be noise all over the show and people be walking up and down the street.
True. Yeah. And so a lot of people sometimes have the assumption that if you are living in a rural area, you're kind of still now in the what word can I use? Kore, like nako tsele tsa kgale, pit toilets, you have to go to the river to fetch water, things like that. So how have you incorporated those modern comfort conveniences? How do you deal with like your waste? How do you deal with like the plumbing or the water issues also that we know vele are there in rural areas?
Well, obviously, typically you wouldn't find a toilet in a Hondavel, right? So, but we managed to build our own inside the house, and the shower as well is in the house. All the amenities that you can think of are within the house. Your sink, for washing dishes and all that. So we have a septic tank in the yard, which collects all our waste, the water and toilet, sewer. So we do have that system. It's been installed since the house was built. So it's working fine, perfectly, nothing overspilling and such. The guy who built it for me advised that maybe once after 10 years I need to pump it out. But we're going 7 years strong now, nothing is overflowed. So for me it's working perfectly.
Okay.
And then as far as water, fresh water, we use municipality water. We do get water from the municipality, although it's intermittent because now and again they cut the flow. But to supplement that, I have a JoJo tank. So that's where we collect all our water. So that in dry days we can use water from the JoJo.
So is it rainwater that you're collecting into the JoJo, or is it water from
no, it's still municipality water that flows straight to the JoJo as our reservoir. And then obviously when there's no municipality water, we use that water straight from the JoJo. But the plan is to go completely what people would say off grid, whereby we use rainwater systems, whereby we use filtration of that water system to cook, wash, and bath. And,
So then you plan to add more tanks to the one you have, and then collect from like your roof and stuff.
Now I think it's a matter of design and see how many tanks we need to add so that during the dry months of winter, normally we can still have sufficient water.
Yeah.
Because in KwaZulu we have enough rainwater.
We do.
Yeah, especially during summer, it's more than enough. So
it's over enough.
Yeah, so that's more than enough that can sustain us in our environment.
Yeah.
But now again, it's just a matter of design, saying during the winter months, what are we gonna do? Yeah. But even here during winter, we still get a bit of rain.
Yeah, we still do.
It's not like in Gauteng whereby it's completely dry during June, July. But here we still get a bit of rain.
Yeah.
But again, if we can design the system perfectly so that during the dry months we can also get enough storage to supplement us, obviously.
Yeah.
But again, obviously, if you use the water wisely, it can carry us throughout the year.
Yeah. So I understand that with regards to from just the last time we spoke, you said that you don't necessarily have, like, when there's no water, you don't have like to go like outside and fetch the water from the tank. The water, the plumbing system still does the same thing. Like it's almost like there's still water.
Yeah.
Can you explain how that works?
Yeah. Okay. Well, from my Jojo, I have a pump that pumps the water directly to the house.
Okay.
So yeah, we don't need to rely again on the pressure from the outside.
Okay.
From the city or the municipality.
Yeah.
We just use water. Pressure from our tank.
Yeah.
From the pump.
Yeah.
Which pumps to the house. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have to turn it on, or is
No,
like
it's
some automatic?
Yeah, it's semi-automatic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's based on pressure. Okay. When there's low pressure in the system, the pump kicks in.
Okay.
And then when there's enough pressure, it stops.
Okay.
Yeah, so as soon as there's no pressure in the system, the pump kicks in.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. But again, I'm still gonna modify that system because I think I can eliminate the pump.
Okay.
And I can use more of a gravity system.
Okay.
Yeah, again, it's all about being sustainable. The pump uses electricity. So if there's a way to avoid the pump, well, we can avoid using the pump. Yeah, but using gravity. Yeah.
Okay, that is an interesting concept. Yeah. And in terms of electricity, are you planning also to go off grid or like, are you planning to go completely off grid or just on the water side?
For now, it's just on the water side. The electricity part for now, maybe it's a little bit more expensive.
Okay.
But obviously, we try to be efficient in energy.
Yeah.
We use gas for cooking.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's not efficient, but it's an alternative to electricity.
Yeah.
And I'm also planning to build an outside kitchen, which would use more of our natural resources, like the wood.
I like that also.
Yeah. Because that's how in ancient times we used to cook as well, outside.
And mostly people do that. They have structures, I found that to be very interesting, and I love that.
Yeah, I also prefer that, we have an outside oven, an outside stove. You can do all your cooking outside, and you have people around you helping you in that outside kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have an alternative whereby you can use a gas or you can use the wood to cook. So that's one way of avoiding the electricity issue.
Yeah.
And then in terms of other stuff, well, we still have to rely obviously on Eskom in terms of lighting.
Yeah.
But again, we're also using all these technology with energy efficient lamps.
Yeah.
Hopefully later on we can go on LEDs, which are also less energy consuming.
Yeah.
But in terms of using solar, for now it's a little bit more expensive. But as soon as the prices obviously come down, eventually it's more cheaper, then we can go that route.
Yeah. Okay. In closing,
we're closing.
Unless you have other things you want to share, please feel free. And so, what would you advise someone that is out there thinking about moving to a rural area? What would you say to that person, and what would you say like a person would need to also prepare mentally? Like what just from your experience, just give us a little bit of like an overall view.
Well, for me, I would say the benefits far more outweigh the negative side of it, because the only negative impact is the transport. You're too far away from your area of work.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's a negative that we don't get consistent water flow, because there is an alternative to that,
yes,
which is also assisting the taking the weight of the
the
municipality.
municipality,
Yeah,
yeah.
because we all need to have an input in this, so the issues of electricity, water, it's not an issue for me, and it shouldn't be an issue for anyone.
Yeah.
The only issue again, I'll say, maybe is the distance. But again, it's a benefit because you are away from all that pollution, the noise,
Yeah.
all this crime that's happening outside in the townships and the surrounding areas. So I'll say the benefits far outweigh the negative side
Yeah.
of it. So it's definitely worth it. If you self-build, again, you're avoiding the issue of the bond, so you don't have monthly repayments,
Yeah.
and you can build at your own pace.
Yeah.
No one's putting pressure. So yeah, it's really worth it for me. And in fact, I'm thinking of getting a bigger site because I think mine is getting a little bit small. So if possible, I'd even go even far more rural than
Better than this.
better than this, because again, technology has made things easier. Again, now people can work from home.
Yeah.
Yesterday I managed to conduct some work at home.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was doing the Teams, Microsoft Teams interviews, and
Yeah.
it was nice because I was at home and in my t-shirts, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't need to be in the city anymore. I think we can live outside of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if possible, this is the place to be where you have the surrounding of the community.
Yeah.
People still have that spirit of Ubuntu around here, and they practice it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, okay.
Sharing your insights.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's anything else I missed that you would like to share with our viewers, please.
No, I think maybe the next step is to take you through the journey whereby we install all these things. Like
that would be nice.
Your rainwater system, harvesting system.
Yeah.
The gardens, the sustainable garden that we have.
Okay, wow, that's wonderful. So you plan to have a garden?
No, we do have. It's just that now it's been in ruins because of the rains and the sun. We had a lot of heat last week, and and because I'm also working, so I don't get enough time to tend the garden. To tend to it. But we do have lettuce in the garden, and we do have some brinjal.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have
nice life you live.
We're getting there slowly. But as soon as it's fully developed, again, I'll take you through the journey of the garden, our food garden, and how we sustain it and how it sustains us. There's many more projects that we plan to have in this small dwelling of ours.
Would you say then your ultimate plan is to be self-sufficient?
Ultimately, we need to be self-sufficient. Okay. Or live as below our means as much as possible.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I think what I really like and I'm inspired by is that you are a young person, and a lot of people don't think in the manner that you are thinking. A lot of people thinking, no, we're gonna get a job, we're gonna go buy a house in the city, a car, but we don't really think, these are actually putting us in a lot of debt. They also take away a lot of our freedom, and it's good to meet young people like yourself that are thinking differently and are inspiring other people to think differently, and that inspires me as well. It encourages me to keep on the journey that I'm on, to be self-sufficient, to live with nature, and to really also teach our children these values that you find that are still being practiced a whole lot in like rural areas. Thank you so much, Thapelo.
All right, thanks for your time, and hopefully we can continue with other projects that
definitely, and we look forward to it.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Want to find out
yeah
like what you love, it's an unconventional way of thinking that you are thinking and viewing things. Is it something I can say naturally? Is there something in your life that inspired you? Did you maybe grow up in there? Were you exposed? Like, how did
What
you
influenced?
Yeah,
influence your
No,
direction?
see, I grew up in a township. There's nothing in my upbringing that connects me to the rural areas. So all I've been with Tikas or Strata Kasi. So when, as I said, when I came around here and seeing the other side of life, like, there's beautiful areas I can see outside of KwaThema. That inspired me and said, no, this is, I think, where I can connect with what I truly love.
With yourself as well.
With myself in a way, because as I say, growing up in the township, you get too busy and you don't get ready to connect with other things, especially with nature. There's many things that are going wrong in our townships. You can hardly hear any birds nowadays.
True.
You can hardly even hear chickens. So there are many things that are not going right in that sense. So coming back to this life now, we can sort of like unplug from that environment. And this is what I hope our kids can grow up, to enjoy. Going to the river. Where I grew up, there's no river. There's hardly a river. The only river is sewage on the street. Whereas here we've got natural rivers, natural streams, waterfalls, you name it, it's here. So this is what I want the kids to enjoy as well. Going to a tree and take a fruit from a tree. So that's what I miss as well from my childhood. We didn't have that, so I wish I can extend it to the others.
Thanks,
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.